Hi there, I'm Richard. Welcome to Burning Spears. Today, I'm going to be doing some very, very important scientific research, eating stuff on picanha. Now, I get confused at the best of times, but when it comes to picanha, and do you cut it with the grain? Do you cut it against the grain? Man, that's some high-tech stuff that confuses me. So I'm going to debunk the myth. I'm going to do it both ways today. On film, I've got Nick Perfect to be my verification, and this should be interesting, so stick around. Hello, Nick.
Hello, Richard.
How's it going, man?
Oh, bud.
Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
Yeah, always a pleasure to cook with
mate.
you. We are doing a different picanha cook on the side here, but we're going to start the serious scientific stuff. So in a bit, we'll zoom into the meat. But I just wanted to chat to you a little bit about the confusion that I have and the dilemma that I have with picanha in general. So Brazilians always state that you have to cut your steaks with the grain. So then your muscle fibers are running with it.
Yep.
Whereas in my mind, traditionally we cut steaks against the grain. And yes, I know there's a whole the knife cut when you bite and all that sort of thing. So we're going to do it both ways today, and then we'll try them, and then judge who's right, because I think I'm right.
Okay.
Normally the case, but we'll see. We'll see here.
Yep.
Do you have any particular way that you slice steaks from a picanha?
I would always aim to have the shortest length of fibre per bite as possible. That's always my objective. So we're gonna have a long grain and we're gonna have a short grain slice of steak today, and we will find out which is better.
So looking forward to it. So I'll just dive into these lovely picanhas, and we'll take it from there. Right. So ordinarily you would be used to that view on a rump steak. This is the rump cap that's removed from the rump steak. My favorite, because it's got rump, I can eat it rare, and it's got this great fat cap on. These are Black Angus from Australia, mate, and they are lovely, lovely ones. Unfortunately, sometimes you get butcher who is a bit sadistic and will cut off fat like that, but lovely, lovely stuff. A little bit of marbling. All good. So basically, if you look at this, and the grain is running that way. So from what I've seen, Brazilians will cut their steaks like that. So when you cut, you'll get a small fiber length. Whereas in my mind, I'm used to cutting and seeing steaks cut against the grain. So if the grain is running there, you cut your steaks like that, and that's how you would see it on a rump anyway. And then when you cut, when you're eating it, you'll have maybe a slightly longer meat strand, but the way it breaks, in my mind, is better. So we're going to try both of these. I'm going to carve them up. Okay, so just having a look closely at a picanha. So I've got a muscle group on top, and there's a bit of sinew under there. I'm not cutting all of that off. I'm going to leave that on. That grain is running like that. Then there's a bit on the front here, which is a slightly different muscle group, where the grain is running that way, but the majority of the grain is running this way. So I'm going to cut the Brazilian style like this. Then on this picanha, it's a bit more uniform, but it is slightly more diagonal on this one. So I'm going to go with the majority direction again and cut like that. So let's get that done. Okay, right, so you can see I've cut them about 1.5 inches. That's the thinnest I'll ever cut a steak, really. With the curve, you've got some bits like that are slightly uneven. But yeah, so that is the Brazil style. Often you'll see them skewer it like that and then do it on rotisserie. So that is the long grain. Okay, so with the majority of the grain running that way, cutting it against the grain in this cut, which is completely opposite to the previous one. And for me, this is a winner, but we're going to see. And I mean, that is just such a beautiful, beautiful one to eat. That's going to be my favorite. Love it. Right, so that is against the grain. Against and with. Season them very simply today. Freshly ground black pepper and kosher salt. Not messing about. Right, they are ready for the fire. Okay, so just on the fire side, as you see, the wood's burnt down quite nicely. Now I'm going to want to have two zones because I've got the real estate. I'm spoiled like that. So I'm going to want a very high searing zone and then a sort of medium heat that I could take the steak off just when it gets a bit hot and things start happening a bit too quickly. I can just slow it down a little bit on the side and focus on the others. And at least that gives me the time protection to work on each piece individually. Seen it done many times before, I'm sure. So I'm going for a fairly thin bed on the side there. And then my high point over there. So I'm going to wait for this to come down to at least 6 seconds before I start cooking because that's way too hot. There's just no respite for anything. Right, so I'm going to really just get on with it. I'm going to watch them closely. And I'm going to hopefully remember which one's which. But they are different shapes, so I should manage that. Okay, so I'm going to let things cool off for a little bit. You can see I've got them to the side. I want to render this fat, focus on the fat to get that fully rendered. Nothing worse than a white piece of raw fat when you're cutting in there. So against the heat, I'll rotate these around, you'll see, just to get that. Then occasionally I'll pop one on the hot section just to work on the Maillard reaction, the crust, the caramelization of the meat. I'm really getting good color now. And like I said, the advantage about having your cooler side is utilizing it exactly as I'm doing now. But so I'm going to temp them now. Like a lot of people say, oh, why you use a thermometer and all that. The more when I started using a thermometer, I just increased as to how much I'd use it. It takes the guesswork out. I'd rather, you spend so much money on good quality meat, I'd rather nail it, to be perfectly honest. There's no ego in cooking for me. It's all about eating the perfect bite. So I'm going to want to pull them at 45 degrees, hopefully internal. So we've got 40, 44 and a half, 41, 45. These are probing perfect for me to pull off and rest to get a rare finish. Now this one was the one. You can see it's softer. I'm okay with that because I love rare meat, so I know that is going to be perfect for me. This I can tell, whereas it's temping perfectly, I can tell that that's going to be closer to medium rare. So I'm actually going to come off with all of them now. You look at that beautiful color. That Maillard reaction is just spot on. Just a little bit of love and attention on this one. A minute and then it's coming off. Okay, so this is rested probably 5 minutes, which is more than enough. It's a little bit cool outside. I see some of the resting juices are out. And yes, I do remember which one's which, or which type is which. So these squarer ones are the long with the grain. And then these are the against the grain ones. So let's have a look. I'll keep them separate and we'll do a comparison. Alright, so cut against the grain. Let's see on the pull. So the pull is really easy this way around. Cutting lengthways, that's a hard pull. But it's obviously all in the chew. So let's see. Right, there we have it.
What we were waiting for.
Yeah, the scientific part now begins. Cheers, bud.
Cheers, Richard.
Ching ching. So we try the bits with the grain first.
Yep.
Grab a piece of your choice.
I want that middle one right there. Very tender.
It's tender, but there is a bit of cushion, if you know what I mean.
No complaints.
But tasty.
Delicious.
Fat's perfectly rendered. I think we're all good there.
That's a good bite. I don't have any issues with that. Yeah. If I got served that in a restaurant, I think that was a nice, tender, delicious steak.
It is beautiful.
Yep.
Right.
Which one's this now?
This is the one that was initially cut against the grain.
Okay. Oh, that is superior.
Less of that cushion.
Wow.
Even the flavour is different. Am I right? Juicier.
It is definitely a juicier steak. It's definitely easier to bite. There's less resistance. I think there's a winner here.
So, I'm so happy. I'm ecstatic because confusion over. Whereas some people like cooking their steak like that, and a very big nation, and that's the queen of their steaks. I'm happy. I've debunked it now. This is the way. And it makes sense to me. The problem is that also sort of makes sense when you break it down like you were talking earlier on. So, really happy that I can carry on living my life now and not get confused on picanhas. Now I can work on perfecting them. So, yeah.
Well done, Richard.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm having some more of this.
Huge
actually.
weight, yeah.
Cheers.
Huge weight off the shoulders.
Thank you.
Ching ching.
Yeah. What's all you suckers at home get to watch us eat?
Man, that's good, man. And without further ado, myth debunked. That's it.